That is Tyler Childers' new stuff from American country music singer from Kentucky. His music is a blend of country, bluegrass and folk. And he's pretty big in the States. Speaking of being big in foreign countries, David Dower is our next guest, and he's big in Bulgaria. Good morning, David.
Good morning. Thanks for having me on, Jono.
No worries. How did you get big in Bulgaria?
Well, it is as random as it sounds. We took a chance and just went there kind of on a whim, kind of as a novelty. Sounds unfair, but you know, who goes to Bulgaria?
Yeah.
And the response was just out of this world. People were just really into it, very supportive and appreciative. And by chance, one particular girl at our first performance took us under her wing, and all of a sudden we found ourselves on TV and playing at a festival in one of the biggest festivals they have in the country. And yes, I just got back from our third tour there, where we played 11 shows and have recorded the new album, our second in Bulgaria.
This is the perfect musical rags to riches kind of story. And I should mention that David Dower is part of the David Dower trio, which would probably make sense, wouldn't it? Because this is the kind of fairy tale, isn't it? That you get discovered, that someone is a bit of a fixer for you overseas, or gets you into a music scene, and then all of a sudden, are you making money out of it?
Not yet. We were lucky this year. We actually received a grant from Creative Victoria, which I think used to be called the Victorian Arts Hub, or which is a state government funding thing, which is super cool because we do self-fund, and as artists, as lots of artists would know, that's quite crippling.
Yes, yeah. Well, there's that old cliche of, you know, the stereotype of the struggling artist type thing, but I guess it's true. It is hard to make money out of art, isn't it?
Yeah, but then I guess maybe that's where, if you spin a positive on it, maybe that's where some inspiration comes from. And you know, if life was perfect, you'd have nothing to say, wouldn't you? That's
true. There's always a silver lining. I like that positivity. So, what's it like? Do you have to learn to speak the language, or how do you become big? Are there posters of you? Are there billboards with you in Bulgaria?
Oh, not billboards. God, I wish. Maybe one day. It still is under the jazz heading, and you know, jazz isn't as wildly famous as a proper pop or rock band, but we do make, you know, I make my own posters, and I've learned some Bulgarian. I've actually got a Bulgarian tutor now, such as my investment in the country. So I speak some. I've been told my Bulgarian accent is cute, which sounds like a patronising way of saying it's awful.
That's what they kind of say when they're trying to encourage you, but they don't quite know what to say.
Yeah. But it is fun, and they use the Cyrillic alphabet, which is like the Russian alphabet. So half the battle is just interpreting what a backwards R means and what a backwards N is, and which is it's a good brain challenge. For those of you out there who are sick of Sudoku, learn the Cyrillic alphabet. It's
and take up Bulgarian. Can you kind of say good morning and welcome to ABC Gippsland in Bulgarian or something?
Yeah, I can give it a shot. Hopefully no Bulgarians listening. I can say Zdravei, Dobrodošli to ABC Gippsland. I don't know how to say that in Bulgarian.
No, that was beautiful. That's beautiful. I think it sounds cute, by the way. So have you tried to kind of hit up the local Gippsland or Australian music scene? Have you tried to kind of make it big here, or did this all just happen by chance in Bulgaria?
Well, I was living in London at the time. There's a good youth visa for a few years for young people, and that led to the easier access to Europe. And so my band are actually based in London, which is horrific. That's quite a difficult scenario. But the plan is I've got this aspiration, hopefully in a couple of years, to get them out here, including bring out a Bulgarian kaval player, it's like a wooden flute you play sort of at a 45-degree angle, and I want to try and get him out here as well, to do a tour and to do workshops in schools and to bring some of that information I've learnt about Bulgaria back to, even out to regional Australia, and you know, share what I've been learning and experiencing.
Yeah. So because I should mention this, it was remiss of me not to, but you're from Foster, South Gippsland. So what was it like growing up in Foster and kind of getting into jazz and expanding your musicality? Yeah,
I was very lucky to have a teacher up the street, you know, which is in country towns, not often just up the road. Phenomenal teachers. David Alsop, who was a local jazz musician, and he was very inspirational and very supportive of creativity. And so I didn't really have a traditional upbringing in music. which was cool because it led to sort of writing my own stuff and at a very young age, which means when you put a band together, you're kind of already in that headset. It's not a big change.
Yeah.
And I found that Gippsland is super supportive for music. I play in a band with Harry Hookey, who's a local country star. I think he's ARIA nominated at points. And we were just in Lake Tyers the other week, and he runs jams out in Sale, and spend a lot of time out in East Gippsland playing to really appreciative crowds. So yeah, there's a lot going on, and it deserves support.
Yeah, well, that's right. I think you're right. I think the Gippsland music community is really supportive, and there is a bit going on. Although sometimes it can feel as if there's not, like there is, and it's all spread out. So this is the thing with Gippsland. It's such a big area, and everyone is so spread out that you've got to often travel a fair way. You're talking about Waterwheel Tavern in Lake Tyers, and then getting around a fair bit. Did you find that a bit of a challenge? And where are you now? Are you in Melbourne? Or?
I'm in Melbourne at the moment. Yeah,
right. Yeah. There's a nice jazz scene in Melbourne, isn't there?
Yeah, there is. I think it's special coming out here and doing what I can out here. I was just involved in a camp in Leongatha for primary school kids, and I help out with Mary MacKillop Regional Catholic Colleges, which is in Leongatha as well, musicals each year, and so there's something about bringing it back home. What I've been learning overseas and in Melbourne. There's something special about finding a kid like myself.
Yep.
I'm not a kid. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Yeah.
How old are you?
12 up here. I'm 30.
30. Yeah, you're definitely not a kid.
Yeah, I know. But it's about finding a kid that is looking for that kind of motivation and stimulation, and sharing what I know with them. So it is nice bringing it out here where there is probably less access to the wealth of performances and teaching and stuff that there is in Melbourne. Yeah.
Did you go to the Melbourne International Jazz Festival this year?
I was overseas. I was in
Bulgaria.
Yeah, I know.
Of course you were. I don't usually go to many shows, but my sister bought me tickets to Herbie Hancock.
Oh, cool, yeah.
And it was just really, really cool. Really amazing. It was at Hamer Hall in Melbourne, and last show I saw him there was Paul Kelly, but it was just, he blew me away.
Yeah, he's basically deaf.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, he wasn't growing up, but
no,
he's like 80 something now.
He is, and still going strong, and so energetic. I guess if you had the longevity of Herbie Hancock, I think you'll be doing well.
Yeah, he's healthy.
Yeah, that's right. Well, music keeps you healthy, doesn't it?
Hopefully. That's what I'm banking on.
Well, tell us a bit about this song. So this is a collaboration. Now I'm going to try some Bulgarian. Lito Ide?
That's pretty good, I think.
You think?
I don't know. I got told off for saying it wrong the whole tour. Leto Ide.
Leto Ide.
And so we upon our travels have met a wide variety of fascinating musicians and playing Western music, but also playing traditional Bulgarian folklore is what they call it. And through some friends, we ended up hiring a choir. So Raina Vasileva and her two amazing singers, so there's three of them, came in and sung like traditional lyrics that were written by. So that girl we met at our first performance wrote the lyrics for me. So she's helped us find some festivals, and then she wrote some lyrics for me. So she's been
perfect. She's a good find.
Big shout out to Mary. And so I wrote the music in the traditional Bulgarian style, or I gave it a good shot. Yeah. And we kind of blended it with our style. So as the song evolves, sort of more rock elements kick in to kind of a lilted Bulgarian feel. If you're playing along at home, most Western music is in 4/4. So 4 even beats, and you can clap along really easily. This is more like combinations of short and longs. So the start of it's going to be like short, 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 long, short, 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 long. And if you think about dancing, they might be like step, 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 hold, step, 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 hold.
Okay.
And then that's kind of a traditional Bulgarian way of dancing at a wedding. So if this sort of beat comes on, it's like the Macarena coming on. They'll all get up and dance to it because they know the feeling. And so I wanted to try and write something that used a bit of that. Yeah. And then combine it with some Bulgarian lyrics. So this is it's like a westernized version of a Bulgarian thing, and it starts with an Indian drum, so it's the weirdest mix of. It's pretty it's pretty weird.
All right, well here you go. Thank you, David, for coming in. It's been a pleasure.
Thanks very much.
Cheers.
Thanks, man.
No worries.